Have you ever felt like reality is an illusion? Like something is just off? As if the world around you is carefully structured, yet beneath the surface, something is missing, something unexplainable? Maybe you've had moments where you stared at the night sky, feeling an indescribable longing, as if you were meant for something greater. Maybe you've walked through life, following all the rules, yet deep down, a voice whispers, "This isn't all there is." That voice is the first crack in the illusion, the first sign that you are waking up. For centuries, philosophers, mystics, and scientists have searched for the nature of reality. From Plato's allegory of the cave to Buddha's enlightenment, from Einstein's paradoxes to modern quantum mechanics, one truth remains the same. The world you perceive is not the world as it truly is. But what if I told you, reality is far stranger than you've ever imagined? What if the very fabric of existence is not solid, not fixed, but entangled, interconnected, fluid? Ancient wisdom has long hinted at this hidden nature of reality. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of a world where the observer and the observed are one. The Tao Te Ching describes a reality that flows like a river, beyond human control. And in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "The kingdom of God is spread out upon the earth, but men do not see it." Science, too, is beginning to confirm what mystics have always known. Reality is not as it seems. In the world of quantum mechanics, the very act of observation changes reality. Two particles, separated by galaxies, can influence each other instantly, defying all logic. Time, space, and matter are not absolute, but woven together in an invisible web of connection. This is not speculation. This is proven science. Einstein himself called it spooky action at a distance. He refused to believe the universe could work this way. Yet experiments have proven him wrong, time and time again. But what does this mean for you? It means the world is not what you think it is. It means your thoughts, your choices, your very awareness may be deeply connected to the fabric of the universe itself. It means you are not just a passive observer, you are a participant in reality. And once you see this truth, you can never unsee it. This is why ancient traditions have always taught that awakening is not about learning something new. It's about remembering what was always there. But here's the problem. Most people are asleep. Just like Plato's prisoners in the cave, they mistake shadows for reality. They believe what they are told. They accept the limits placed upon them. They never question, never seek, never awaken. But some begin to wake up. And the moment you question reality, the moment you suspect that there is more beyond the surface, something begins to shift, because reality is not fixed. It bends, it flows, it changes. The only question is, are you ready to see beyond the illusion? In this journey, we will uncover the hidden science of entanglement, the ancient wisdom that foresaw it, and most importantly, how your consciousness is already woven into the web of reality. And in the end, I will guide you through the most powerful quantum exercise ever revealed. One that will allow you to not just understand entanglement, but to feel it, experience it, and use it to shape your life. So the choice is yours. You can turn back now. Forget everything you heard, dismiss this as mere philosophy, and return to your ordinary reality. Or you can keep watching and step through the doorway. Because once you know the truth, there is no going back. The science of quantum entanglement. Have you ever questioned the nature of reality? Have you ever wondered if the world you see is just a fraction of something much greater? Something hidden beneath the surface? For centuries, we believed the universe was predictable, logical, and governed by absolute laws. We thought time flowed forward, space was fixed, and objects were separate from one another. But then something happened, something that shattered everything we thought we knew. It began in the early 20th century, when scientists peered into the smallest building blocks of reality and discovered a world that defied all logic. At the heart of this mystery lies quantum entanglement, a phenomenon so bizarre that even Einstein called it Spooky action at a distance. Imagine two particles, tiny specks of energy, light years apart, yet somehow they remain perfectly synchronized. Change one and the other reacts instantly. No delay, no signal, no physical connection. This shouldn't be possible. According to classical physics, nothing can travel faster than light. And yet, entangled particles defy this rule, behaving as if they are not two separate objects, but one. This is not science fiction. This is proven, tested, and awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. For decades, scientists resisted this idea. They believed the universe must obey local realism, the assumption that objects exist independently and only influence each other through signals traveling through space and time. But in the 1960s, physicist John Bell devised a mathematical test, Bell's theorem, to determine whether reality was truly local or something much stranger. The results? Local reality is an illusion. In 2022, the Nobel Prize was awarded to physicists Alain Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger for proving that entangled particles do not communicate in any traditional sense. They simply exist as one, even across vast distances. This means the universe is not made of separate, independent objects. Reality is deeply interconnected at a fundamental level. But what does this mean for us? If entanglement exists at the quantum level, could it also exist on a larger scale? Could the entire universe be part of an interconnected web where everything influences everything else? The idea is not new. Ancient traditions have hinted at this for thousands of years. Hindu Vedanta teaches that all things are part of Brahman, the infinite, indivisible consciousness that binds reality together. Buddhism speaks of dependent origination, the idea that nothing exists in isolation. Everything arises through relationships. The Tao Te Ching describes existence as a flowing, interwoven force, rather than separate objects moving through space. The Gospel of Thomas echoes this truth. When you make the two one, then you will enter the kingdom. But now science is catching up. Modern physics suggests that particles are not isolated dots of matter, but vibrations in vast quantum fields. What we think of as separate objects are just disturbances in the same universal fabric. This means you are not separate from the universe. Your thoughts, your consciousness, everything you experience may be entangled with the very fabric of reality itself. And if that's true, then what else is possible? Could consciousness itself be entangled? Could our thoughts, emotions, and intentions influence reality in ways we never imagined? In the next section, we will explore the mystical connection between the mind and quantum entanglement. Because once you understand this, you will never look at reality the same way again. The mind-reality connection. Have you ever had a moment where you thought of someone and they suddenly called you, or made a decisive connection, and the universe seemed to respond in ways that defied logic, coincidence, or something much deeper? For thousands of years, spiritual traditions, mystics, and philosophers have suggested that the mind is not just a passive observer of reality, it is an active force shaping the world around us. But what if science is beginning to confirm this? What if your consciousness is not confined to your brain, but entangled with the very fabric of the universe itself? This is where things get truly fascinating. Modern physics has uncovered a strange phenomenon known as the observer effect. The idea that the very act of observing something changes its outcome. The world we see is not simply out there, independent of us. At a fundamental level, our awareness may be influencing reality itself. But how is this possible? In the famous double-slit experiment, physicists discovered something unsettling. When electrons were not observed, they behaved like waves spreading across space. But when a scientist measured them, they collapsed into particles, as if they had always been in one fixed location. This means that before something is observed, it exists in a state of pure potential, a wave of probabilities, rather than a definite object. But the moment consciousness enters the equation, reality takes form. Physicist John Wheeler, one of the pioneers of quantum mechanics, proposed a radical idea. We live in a participatory universe. The act of observation is what brings the universe into existence. This raises a profound question. If the act of observing changes reality, what else is our consciousness shaping? Could it be that our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, like quantum waves, collapse into the world we experience? Could this explain the strange phenomenon of synchronicity? Those moments when thoughts and reality seem to align in ways beyond chance? Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, studied this deeply. He coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences, events so improbably connected that they seem to reflect an underlying order in reality. He wrote, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." But what if synchronicity is not just psychological? What if it is the mind interacting with the hidden quantum field? If reality responds to observation, then perhaps it also responds to intention, focus, and awareness. For centuries, Western science has taught that consciousness is a byproduct of the brain, a mere collection of electrical signals and chemical reactions. But this view is being challenged. In the field of quantum consciousness, physicists Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff propose the orchestrated objective reduction, OR theory, the idea that consciousness arises from quantum processes within the microtubules of brain cells. If this is true, then consciousness is not limited to the brain. It is deeply woven into the quantum fabric of the universe. This aligns with the philosophies of the East, which have long described consciousness as an all-pervading field. In Hinduism, the mind is not the source of awareness. It is a reflection of Brahman, the infinite consciousness that pervades all things. In Buddhism, the nature of reality is described as emptiness, shunyata, not a void, but a field of limitless potential that takes form based on perception. The Tao Te Ching states, "The Tao is like a well, used but never used up. It is the eternal source of everything." Even in Western mysticism, the idea of a universal mind appears. The Hermetic tradition states, "The all is mind. The universe is mental." The Kabbalion, 1908. Could it be that these traditions were describing the same fundamental truth? That our minds are not separate, but entangled with the greater whole? If consciousness is truly connected to the fabric of reality, could we detect it scientifically? At Princeton University, researchers ran an experiment called the Global Consciousness Project. They placed random number generators all over the world, machines designed to produce completely random sequences of numbers. But something strange happened. During moments of global significance, wars, natural disasters, or events where millions of people focused their minds on the same thing, these machines stopped behaving randomly. The numbers became structured, as if human consciousness itself was affecting the quantum field. Even though these minds were separated by vast distances, their collective focus seemed to create a measurable impact on reality. What does this tell us? It suggests that our thoughts may not be isolated, private experiences. They may be part of a vast, interconnected field, one that responds to focus, intention, and awareness. This would mean that our consciousness is already entangled. And if that's true, what else could we do? If consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality, then perhaps we are not as powerless as we've been led to believe. Ancient traditions have long taught that the mind shapes experience. The Bhagavad Gita states, "The mind is everything. As one thinks, so one becomes." The Bible says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Proverbs 23:7. The Buddha taught, "We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we create the world." But is this just philosophy? Or is there a deeper scientific truth behind it? Could it be that our thoughts are not just personal, but quantum signals, waves of possibility that shape reality in ways we are only beginning to understand? Now we arrive at the most important question of all. If the mind is entangled with reality, can we learn to harness this power? In the next section, we will go beyond theory. We will explore a step-by-step process, one rooted in both science and ancient wisdom, to directly experience this entanglement for ourselves. This is not just another meditation. This is not just another manifestation technique. This is a consciousness experiment, one designed to shift the way you interact with reality. Because once you experience this for yourself, you will never see reality the same way again. The consciousness field connection. Have you ever had a thought, an intense feeling, a deep intention, and then seen it unfold in your life as if the universe was responding to you? Some call it intuition, some call it fate. Others dismiss it as coincidence. But what if it is something more? What if your consciousness is not separate from reality, but actively shaping it? We've already seen how quantum mechanics defies classical logic, how particles remain entangled across vast distances, how the observer effect collapses possibilities into reality. But what if this principle applies not just to particles, but to your own life? Could it be that your thoughts, your emotions, your awareness are part of the same entangled web that binds the universe together? Modern science is beginning to suggest exactly that. For centuries, philosophers and mystics have taught that the mind is not merely a passive witness, but a force that interacts with the universe. The Bhagavad Gita states, "The world is a projection of the mind. One who controls the mind controls reality." The Bible echoes this wisdom. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Matthew 17:20. The Tao Te Ching describes reality as fluid, shaped by intention. The soft overcomes the hard. The yielding shapes the unyielding. These teachings hint at a hidden power within consciousness, the ability to shape the world through thought and intent. But could there be a scientific explanation for this? In 1998, a groundbreaking experiment at Weizmann Institute of Science confirmed the observer effect at a macroscopic level. Researchers found that the more they watched electrons, the more their behavior changed. The simple act of observation was not passive, it was participatory. What if this applies to more than just electrons? What if our thoughts, our focused attention, are participating in the shaping of reality? This idea aligns with the findings of the Global Consciousness Project, where large-scale human attention seemed to influence random number generators. It also aligns with Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity, the idea that meaningful coincidences arise from a deeper, hidden order, an order shaped by consciousness. But how far does this go? Could your mind itself be entangled with the very fabric of existence? If entanglement exists at the level of matter, then what about the mind? Physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed a radical idea. Consciousness is not just an emergent property of the brain, it is rooted in quantum processes inside brain cells. Their orchid OR theory suggests that the microtubules inside neurons behave as quantum processors, linking human consciousness to the quantum field of the universe. If this is true, then our awareness is not localized inside our skulls. It is part of a vast, interconnected field. This mirrors what mystics have described for millennia. Advaita Vedanta teaches that the self, Atman, is not individual, but part of a greater universal consciousness, Brahman. Buddhism speaks of Indra's net, an infinite web where each point reflects all others, much like entangled particles. The Gospel of Thomas states, "When you make the two one, then you will enter the kingdom." This suggests a fundamental truth. You are not separate from reality. Your consciousness, your thoughts, your awareness, they are already entangled with the greater whole. And if that's true, what else could you do? If consciousness interacts with the quantum field, then what happens when we focus it? Science has already shown that focused attention changes the brain through neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire neural pathways based on thought. But what if attention does more than that? In a famous intention experiment, physicist Dean Radin and biologist Rupert Sheldrake studied how focused human thought could influence random events, plant growth, and even water crystallization. Their findings suggested that focused thought had a measurable effect on external reality. This aligns with the work of Masaru Emoto, who found that water molecules form beautiful, structured patterns when exposed to words like love and gratitude, but became chaotic when exposed to words like hate and fear. Skeptics dismiss these experiments, But the underlying question remains. If observation collapses quantum states, if entangled particles react instantly across space, if the brain itself contains quantum processes, then isn't it possible that focused thought, true intentional awareness, can shape the reality around us? Many traditions describe this same principle. In Islam, the Quran states, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." Quran 40:60. In Christianity, Jesus teaches, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." Matthew 7:7. In Hinduism, the Vedas say, "The universe responds to those who align their mind with divine will." Is it possible that prayer, meditation, and deep focused intention are not just spiritual rituals, but ways of actively engaging with the quantum field? If consciousness is truly interwoven into the structure of existence, then perhaps we are more powerful than we realize. Perhaps we are not just witnesses of reality, we are participants. Now we reach the most important question of all. If consciousness is entangled with reality, how can we learn to use it? How can we go beyond passive observation and become deliberate creators of our lives? In the next section, we will explore the most advanced quantum consciousness exercise ever revealed. This is not just an experiment. This is an experience, one designed to take you beyond theory and into direct perception of reality itself. Because once you experience this, you will never see reality the same way again. The most advanced consciousness exercise. Have you ever felt like reality is more fluid than it seems? That beneath the surface there is an unseen force waiting to be unlocked? What if you could go beyond theory? What if you could experience entanglement, synchronicity, and the hidden fabric of reality firsthand? For centuries, mystics, yogis, and spiritual masters have spoken of altered states of awareness, states where the illusion of separation dissolves and the interconnected nature of existence is revealed. Now, science is beginning to confirm this. The brain, like the universe itself, operates not in isolation, but in waves, frequencies, and fields. Neuroscience has shown that meditation rewires the mind, influencing emotions, perception, and even physical health. Quantum mechanics has proven that observation alters reality, that consciousness is not passive, but participatory. So the question is, can we train our minds to engage with the quantum field? The answer is yes. What you are about to experience is not just a meditation. It is not just a visualization. This is quantum thought weaving, a four-step process designed to let you experience entanglement, synchronicity, and the living web of reality for yourself. But be warned, once you do this, you may start to notice strange patterns, unexpected synchronicities, a shift in how reality responds to you. Because this exercise is powerful, and once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. Find a quiet place, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. With each breath, feel your body becoming lighter, as if the boundaries of your physical form are dissolving. Now visualize yourself not as a solid being, but as a wave of energy, a ripple in an infinite ocean. This is not imagination. This is how quantum physics describes reality. Not particles, but waves of probability. In this state, you are no longer separate from the field. You are part of the whole. Now bring to mind something or someone you wish to connect with. It could be a person, a goal, an outcome you desire. See it in your mind's eye. Not as something distant, separate, or unreachable, but as something already connected to you. Now visualize an invisible thread of energy linking you to this person or event. This is not fantasy. Quantum mechanics shows that once two particles interact, they remain entangled forever. Your thoughts, your focus, your awareness are the forces that weave these quantum connections. Feel the connection strengthening. Let go of the belief that this thing is outside of you. Instead, shift your focus to the truth. It is already part of you. Most people try to think their way into manifestation, but quantum mechanics tells us something surprising. The observer does not force reality, the observer simply watches it into existence. So instead of trying to control the outcome, just observe. Watch your mind. See your thoughts arise. Do not force anything. Do not struggle. Simply observe your intention as if it is already a reality. Just like an electron exists as a wave of possibilities until it is observed, your intention is already present in the quantum state. And by observing it, you allow it to collapse into existence. This is the hidden secret behind all mystical traditions, meditation practices, and deep prayer. The Bhagavad Gita states, detach from the outcome. Act, but do not be bound by the result. The Tao Te Ching says, by letting go, it all gets done. The secret is not effort, but alignment. And now we take the final step. Now, before you open your eyes, there is one final thing to do. Ask the universe for a sign, a symbol, a word, a feeling, anything. Something that will show you your connection to the field. When you are ready, open your eyes. Now grab a journal or a piece of paper. Write down the first thing that comes to mind. A thought, an image, a word, a number, anything. Do not overthink it, because this is not random. This is a quantum imprint, the first sign of entanglement between your mind and reality. And now, your experiment truly begins. Over the next 24 hours, pay attention. Look for patterns, synchronicities, strange coincidences related to what you just visualized. A song, a phrase, a symbol, a conversation, a number that keeps appearing. Why? Because once you engage with the field, reality will begin to respond. Most people drift through life believing they are separate from reality. But once you understand entanglement, once you practice quantum thought weaving, you will start to see the truth. You are not just an observer of reality, you are a participant. You are an entangler of possibility. Now, the only question is, what will you weave into existence? Now that you've learned the science, the philosophy, and the experience of quantum entanglement, there is one final step left. The realization that you are not just a mind and a body. You are not just a person moving through time. You are something much greater. In the final section, we will explore the deepest truth of all, the ultimate nature of self, existence, and awakening. Because once you see this truth, you will never see yourself the same way again. The ultimate realization. Have you ever felt that your existence is not limited to your body, your mind, or even your thoughts, but something far greater, something infinite? For most of your life, you have been told who you are. You have been given a name, a story, a past, a future. You have been told that you are separate, that you are an individual moving through a world that exists outside of you. But what if that is the greatest illusion of all? What if you are not in the universe? What if the universe is within you? Modern physics has shown us that the very fabric of existence is interconnected, fluid, and ever-changing. Ancient wisdom has long taught that the self is an illusion, that what we mistake for I is nothing more than a temporary wave in the vast ocean of consciousness. And now you stand at the threshold of the greatest realization of all, the realization that you are not separate from existence, that the boundaries between you and the universe are illusions created by the mind, that the observer and the observed are one. This is not just philosophy. This is the deepest truth of reality. For centuries, philosophers, mystics, and physicists have wrestled with the nature of self and consciousness. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that the ego self is temporary, but the true self is eternal. The Buddha spoke of anatta, the doctrine of no self, teaching that what we call I is nothing but a collection of thoughts, memories, and perceptions, constantly changing, never fixed. The Tao Te Ching describes the self as water, shapeless, formless, flowing with the nature of existence. In Sufi mysticism, the poet Rumi wrote, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" But now science is beginning to support what mystics have always known. The study of neuroscience and consciousness has revealed something shocking. There is no single place in the brain where you exist. There is no fixed identity, no core self, only a continuous stream of perception and awareness. The neuroscientist Anil Seth describes consciousness as a controlled hallucination, where the brain generates reality based on expectations and sensory input. If this is true, then who are you really? Are you the thinker of your thoughts? Or are you the space in which thoughts arise? Are you the experiencer of life? Or are you life itself unfolding effortlessly? Quantum mechanics has already shattered the classical idea of a separate, independent reality. We have seen that particles do not exist in fixed states until observed. We have seen that entanglement defies space and time. We have seen that consciousness itself may be part of the quantum field. Now we arrive at the final piece of the puzzle. If reality depends on observation, and you are the observer, then what are you? Physicist John Wheeler suggested something radical, something that changes everything we believe about existence. We are not simply observers of the universe. We are participants in its creation. The universe does not exist independently of awareness. Consciousness is not just inside you. You are inside consciousness. You are not an isolated mind watching the world. You are the field itself, the interconnected fabric of reality experiencing itself in infinite forms. This is why the Bhagavad Gita states, "The wise see that there is no separation. The self is all things, and all things are the self." This is why the Gospel of Thomas records Jesus saying, "When you make the two one, when the inner and outer are the same, then you will enter the kingdom." And this is why the Tao Te Ching teaches, the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. To know it, one must go beyond words. This is the final realization. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Throughout this journey, you have questioned reality. You have explored the hidden connections between quantum physics, consciousness, and ancient wisdom. You have seen how thought interacts with reality, how the observer shapes the observed, and how consciousness is woven into the fabric of existence. But now, you must go beyond knowledge, because the final step is not learning something new. It is letting go of everything you thought you were. The ego will resist this truth. The mind will seek control. But the truth cannot be grasped. It can only be experienced. And once you experience this, you will see reality as it truly is. The mystics of every tradition have described this state as enlightenment, liberation, awakening. In Hinduism, it is the realization of Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. In Buddhism, it is the moment when the mind stops grasping and reality reveals itself. In Christianity, it is the kingdom of heaven, not a place, but a state of being. In Sufism, it is fana, the dissolution of the false self into the infinite. The physicist Erwin Schrödinger, one of the founders of quantum mechanics, came to this same conclusion. The total number of minds in the universe is one. In truth, there is only one consciousness appearing in many forms. And the Zen master Huangpo said it in the simplest way: stop seeking. You are already what you are looking for. The final truth is this: you were never separate. You were never small. You were never limited. You are the universe, experiencing itself through human eyes. And now you are awake. Now that you know the truth, now that you see the illusion of separation, what will you do? Will you go back to life as usual, pretending that nothing has changed? Or will you embrace this realization, live with awareness, intention, and a deep understanding of your connection to all things? Because now, the illusion has been shattered. And once you wake up, you can never go back to sleep. The universe is no longer something outside of you. It is you. You are not in the cosmos. You are the cosmos. And now your journey truly begins. This is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater, a new way of seeing, thinking, and experiencing reality. To integrate this knowledge, practice quantum thought weaving. Train your mind to interact with reality consciously. Pay attention to synchronicities, patterns, and shifts in awareness. Meditate on the nature of self, observing thoughts without attachment. Live with intention, knowing that your consciousness is not separate from the whole, because now you understand the truth, and the truth will set you free. If you have watched this far, it is not by accident. There are no coincidences. The universe has been guiding you to this moment. The only question is, what will you do now that you are awake?